Did anyone watch the Flintstones? If you don't know about it, let me explain. The Flintstones is a 1994 American family comedy film directed by Brian Levant and written by Tom S. Parker, Jim Genuine, and Stephen E. D'Souza, based on 1960-1966 animated television series of the same name by Hanna-Barbera, and I'm here to explain what happened. Here's how. It was May 25th, 1997. I was on my Windows 95 looking for a best VHS tape to watch. I was on eBay for a reason, and I caught something in my eye. It was the MCA Universal Home Videos, The Flintstones. Neither to say, I watched that movie in a theater when that came out. It costs like $12.43 in the $2.34 shipping, so I bought it since I have enough money. And the best part is I contact the seller about this video cassette. So first of all, I'm not gonna give out the seller's name because for my personally in the seller, I copied and pasted the messages so you can understand. Me, hello, seller, hi, me, so, I wanna ask you a question, seller, sure, what is it, me? Where did you get this VHS tape from, seller? From a video store near me. It was actually called Family Video for a reason. It was in Family Video. Me, well, I seen it before. Did you watch it, seller? As you know, my kids wanted to watch this VHS tape, but they gave it back to me, telling me to keep it. Me, wow, your kids don't wanna watch it and gave it to you, seller? Yes, me. Wait, does that Family Video sell bootleg tapes? However, when I said that, he didn't respond. I thought to myself in disappointment, great, just great, got a stupid bootleg tape instead of a copy of it. What a rotten luck. Well, I shrugged off, but I was so happy that I'm gonna watch this movie again. It said it arrives at May 25th. And today, it finally came. I jumped in joy for that. I got back in my room and inserted the tape, and it all started. The video cassette starts with a black screen for 10 seconds. But instead of the Little Rascals VHS trailer and FBI warning screen, it cuts to the MCA Universal Home Video logo for 7 seconds and it fades to black. Well, that's one way to start a frickin' VHS tape like that. Anyways, it all started with Fred Flintstone, the bird, and Barney Flintstone walking up towards something. Then all of a sudden, the vendor cave pops out of the rocks and said to him,
Mr. Flintstone, stealing office equipment, really?
He takes his mouth then continues speaking just like in the final film.
Is this the kind of example you want to set for your daughter?
Barney interrupted Vendor Cave by saying,
Where the kids?
But instead, it cuts to static for 10 seconds until it cuts to the rock crusher. I can barely hear the kids screaming for help, the Vendor Cave said like in the final film.
Let's discuss this, shall we, Cliff? May I call you Cliff?
Now it cuts to Fred Flintstone trying to pull the lever to the left, but it has too much pressure.
Barney, too much pressure!
Said Fred, and it cuts back to the rock crusher, but this time, it was breaking rocks with large axes and a log putting holes through the rocks, and it cuts back to Fred and Barney trying to pull the lever. Barney and Fred counted to 3.
1, 2, 3.
When they pulled the lever, it broke in half. Barney fell, so has Fred, and they both said,
Nice going!
Barney said to Fred.
Now what do we do? You get the kids, I'll try and stop this!
Fred replied. flies. Barney actually saw what is happening. The kids are getting so close to death. And the rock was on the catapult and it was launched onto the conveyor belt. So Barney got on the catapult and launched on the conveyor belt as well. But Barney hits the rock wall with some Hanna-Barbera sound effect and falls to the ground. And it cuts to Wendy Cave and the bird running.
Cliffy, if I ever told you you have a very distinguished chin.
The bird said in the vendor cave told him to shut up. He covers his mouth until he was bitten in the hand. He let out a very loud blood-curdling scream. It actually sounded like it was at 1000% volume. I immediately turned down the volume for that. Then it cuts to static for 10 seconds. I can hear the bird screaming.
Help! Help! Save me! Save me from this mad MBA!
Fred sees the vendor cave and said bravely,
Don't worry. I'll take care of him.
My hero.
Bird sighed in relief. Well, just before Fred picked up a rock to throw at him, he pulls the trigger at the rock, causes it to fall, and he easily said in the final film,
Flintstone, kiss your bird goodbye.
The gun was actually pointing it at the bird.
Oh, mama.
The bird said frightened, but instead of Wilma saving Fred and his bird, he didn't, and goodness gracious. Here comes the disturbing part. The vendor cave pulls the trigger on the bird and kills him entirely. The bird lies here dead.
No, my bird!
Fred screamed in horror and looks at the vendor cave.
You're a monster, sir?
Why, yes, I am.
Said the vendor cave evilly.
I guess your bird won't be able to protect you. Your wife and your kids are dead as well, and you're the next victim. Say your life goodbye.
What? His wife and his kids are dead? Now that's disturbing for a kid's film, and there's no freaking way it was made by Steven Spielberg. The vendor cave pulls the trigger at Fred, killing him as well.
Have fun in hell, Fred, and...
He now said in a demonic tone.
Time is over. Steven Spielberg.
I was shocked that he knows Steven Spielberg, and it fades to black for a second before cutting to the end credits without the Flintstones family coming home from a drive-in theater. Instead of Fred's rock music in the credits, it was replaced with the Vogue's Turn Around. Look at me. And what makes it creepy, it was in reverse and low-toned. After the credits, instead, there are no logos. The screen was black for 30 seconds before the gray background appeared with the 1K sound wave. I thought to myself, you know what? I had enough with the Flintstones today. It didn't rewind. The tape ejected by itself until, wait for it, bang. The VHS tape was pulled off, causing severe damages to my VCR. With all my might, I pulled it out unsuccessfully. It did. So I put the tape back in the case and set it on the table. I immediately thought myself, what the freak did I just watch? Why did he kill the Flintstone family like that? So I gave all of my courage and talked to the seller about this. To my surprise, he actually answered. Now here are some messages that I copied and pasted, and once again, I'm not gonna give out the seller's name. Me. Okay, Mr. Bootleg. What the heck did you sell me, seller? The tape you wanted? Me. That's not the tape I wanted. This is a stupid bootleg that was nothing like the real one, seller. Calm down. Describe to me what was in the film. Me. Well, the tape was in high quality. The film's ending was completely different, and the tape broke after playing, seller. Oh jeez, that never happened to me. Me. I thought you said you watched it, seller. I did, but I didn't remember the things you said. Me. Let me ask this question again. Does that family video sell bootleg tapes? Seller. Yes, they do. But I thought this was a legitimate tape. Me. You should have been more careful. Seller. I'm very sorry. Do you want a refund? Me. I would. But the tape broke. Seller. I can still give you a refund, even if the tape is broken. Me. Thank you. I'll send it back to you ASAP. But before I do, what was the family video in? Seller. It was in Nashville in Tennessee, though I doubt you'll be able to find info on them, due to them closing down a decade ago. Me. I'll find a way. Thank you, Seller. No problem. Just let me know. After an hour of research then found an official statement from Universal's website. I clicked on the site and the thing that showed up really caught my eye. The statement then said, "Dear fans of MCA Universal, it has come to our attention that there are some illegal fake VHS tapes made of our older MCA Universal tapes have been going around in places like flea markets and lesser-known selling websites, with the results being stuff that is sad, depressing, and also very scary and disturbing. We at Universal would never make something as messed up as what is seen on these bootleg tapes. We are taking legal action to get these videos banned and destroyed before it affects unsuspected people. We hope you understand. From Universal Team." So that's why Universal wrote this message. Like, why would some messed up human being make demented bootleg videos of MCA Universal movies? I went and did more research looking for this. And what I found was something that made so much sense from what I saw. It was a blog post made by a person who I will not say by name, cause I don't want to give the jerk any publicity. The blog post was very long, so I'm just gonna summarize it. Will Freeman and Jenny Black teamed up to make those MCA Universal bootleg tapes. They made disturbing and alternative endings of TV and kids shows. But why the Flintstones? Why would they pick this film out of anything else? More research was done, and it turns out the person who made these tapes was a hardcore MCA Universal hater, who hated anything having to do with MCA, and was arrested previously for assault charges and theft. But his worst case was kidnapping innocent people and making them both act in and produce these demented tapes, or they would be tortured if they didn't obey. Now I know why the voice acting felt forced, and that also explains the actual crying. Due to him hating MCA and Universal, the Flintstones was his next target, and he used it to vent out his frustrations and express his hatred for MCA and Universal fans. And since he was a felon, he couldn't get a job, and selling these tapes was his only way of getting any kind of money. He was then arrested again in the spring of 1996, with all of his tapes being confiscated by the local police department. However, some of the tapes slipped through the cracks, and were sold by other people in flea markets and other rundown stores, both physical and online, not aware that these were illegal bootlegs. Now I know why the family video in Nashville in Tennessee was closed down. After coming to this conclusion, I felt a sense of relief and catharsis from it. Remember, if you see these MCA Universal releases by Jenny Black and Will Freeman, don't buy or watch it. I'm warning you, you'll regret it.